Hey, I'm really just the sidekick to Terry Ramirez and Anita Gonzalez. They'll be leading our webinar tonight on ThinkWave, which is our New Mexico Mesa student database. If you do not have experience with ThinkWave, don't worry about it, because lots of the folks on today's webinar are as well. So I'll ask Anita and Terry to introduce themselves, and then I'll be monitoring the chat and piping up with some questions and comments along the way. Anita?
I'm Anita Gonzalez. I'm the Deputy Director for New Mexico Mesa, but I'm also going to be sitting back and just assisting in this session. So I'll put myself on mute and pass it on off to Miss Terry Ramirez.
Thank you so much, Kim and Anita. Like she said, I'm Terry Ramirez, and I'm the Southwest Regional Coordinator, and I will be leading today's training on ThinkWave, which is our database system. Before we get started, if you have already done ThinkWave training, whether it was back in July or yesterday, you do not need to repeat it. If you want to repeat it, by all means, please stay here and join us, but you will only get paid one of the stipends. So I just want to clarify, it is the same training. If you want to hear it twice or 3 times, that's great, but it will only be one stipend, okay? And it is the exact same training that we did back in July and also yesterday. With that said, you guys should have all received an invitation from ThinkWave. And it looks like this. ThinkWave.com sends you an invitation from Mesa. And in there, it should have been a way for you to set up your account. If any of you did not receive your invitation, please write on the chat, and one of our co-hosts will go ahead and resend you the invitation. Also check your spam. We did send out invitations to everybody back in July, but we also sent out a few more yesterday. So please double check and make sure that you have set up your account. You will go to thinkwave.com, and hopefully I am sharing my screen. And it's showing thinkwave.com. Awesome, thanks. You will go here to log in. If this is your first time logging in, you will click right here where it says first time start here. And once you click, you will create a username, password, and your email. And in that invitation that we sent out is the access code. So you do need that invitation to set up the account. Please have your username be something along the lines of your first name, initial, last name, or first name, last name. We would like it to be something that we could identify you easily with, such as T. Ramirez, K. Shearer, A. Gonzalez, or Anita Gonzalez, Shondina Smith, if you use the whole name, rather than, Jumping Mom 75. So please make sure that it is a professional name that we can use. And we are letting you select your username, but please make sure that you use something professional. And password, email that you want us to send stuff to, and the access code. Once you have created a new account, you will be able to log in through here. And so I'm going to go ahead and log on to my account. And I am trying to find all my Zoom buttons. Here we go. All right. All right. I do see a few of you that did not receive it. So Kim and Anita will be sending out those re-invites. So just keep an eye out for them, but please do check. Once they tell you that it's been resent, please do go check your spam, because it does tend to go to spam. Okay. Let me go visit my classroom so that it can look exactly the way it's going to look for you. Second. All right. When you first log on to ThinkWave, it will look like this. You will land in the dashboard. When you get to the dashboard, there will be 4 buttons like this set up for you. Right here at the very beginning of the dashboard, you will see any messages that we might have sent out. For example, there is one that we sent out July 12th, and you can click on it, and it just says, welcome to our new database, and enter your activities here. Any questions, please go check with your RC. So any messages that we send through the database will be here. Of course, we'll continue to use our regular forms of communication rather than this, but just in case you see a new message pop up, that's where you want to look for. And and you can open it there. You can also use the message function to create a message and communicate with students by adding a message, and you can select who you're going to send it to. So you could create a meeting, and then you're going to send it to parents or students in your classroom. Okay, so the first option will be your school students that are registered into the database, or the parents. Okay, you can enable replies if you want, or you can disable it, and you can also attach files and send links and stuff, and you will be sending by email. So it does have that neat function. It is similar to Canvas or PowerSchool that most of you are familiar with. So it just depends. If you want to use this feature, great. And if you don't, that's perfectly okay too. It's just an option. Okay, as they are sending out those emails, it would be sent out to the parent, to the email that's on file. So how do we get students in here, you ask? When we first go to New Mexico Mesa, and I do hope my screen also changed. Is it interactive? I lost him. There we go. Sorry. Did it change to the New Mexico Mesa webpage? Yes,
It did.
awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Sometimes I think I'm going, and then all of a sudden I realize that it didn't change with me. All right. So on our New Mexico Mesa webpage, if you go to students, right here on the right-hand side, you will notice a new form that we have. It is the A0 form, A0 form, and we have it available to be submitted online in English and in Spanish, and we also have it downloadable in English and in Spanish. So once the kids click on this and fill out this information, within a few days, they will be into the database. So whatever email they put right here under student email, that is what will be into the ThinkWave database. So if it's not an email they don't use, or they might not see the email, but it is the information here. You will see, for those of you that were previously with us, it is the A1 and the A2 form combined. For those of you that are new to Mesa, this is the one form that the students need to fill out in order to be registered in Mesa. From here until October, we upload forms about every 3 or 4 days. So you don't see them automatically into the database once they register, but you will see them within a few days. And one thing that I forgot to mention while I'm here is, if you want to do the PDF version and print them out, you can have them fill it out, have the parents sign it, and then take them during meeting 2 or 3 to the computer center, or have them bring their Chromebooks, and then they go in there and do it. If you decide to do the paper form, it's fine. It will give us a little bit more accuracy since they took it home. However, you will still have to do it online at the end for the students. So if you choose to do a paper form, then you have to come back here and enter the data that they have given you. This is the only way that they're going to go into the database. So please make sure that at the end of however you chose to do this, you need to have them, you need to have the online registration form filled out. Okay, so once we are here, you will see the button for students. And as you can see, I have a list of lovely students already registered in my class. There's not a lot of information on them because I did not fill out those imaginary profiles for them, but this is where you would see more information for your students. So the information that they actually send through that registration form, you will actually be able to see it right here. Okay. For those that are filling out the paper form and then you're going back and doing it online, just say on the little box where it shows parent signature, just put paper file. Okay, so that we know that you have a paper copy of it. Okay.
And
so as
Terry, we had a couple questions in the chat. One was about, are there student accounts? And then I'm also going to encourage you, if there's any co-advisors, if there's 2 teachers in a school, how would that be solved, please?
Okay, so The students do not have access this year to log on to ThinkWave necessarily. They would receive emails if you want to send out emails. So if you decide to send out a message, they will receive it as a regular email. This year, we're not setting up for students to log on to ThinkWave. The program does have that capacity, but this year it's just advisors that are logging on to the database. Okay, but you can send a message through here, or you can send their progress report or their point accountability. You can send it through here if you choose to. Again, the message section is something that is totally optional to use, but you do have access to it. Also, when you have the Gradebook, if you have two advisors, both of you will be able to log in and see the exact same thing. So we'll set both of you up, and when you log in, you guys will be able to see the exact same thing, same students. You guys will be able to work on the Gradebook. You can actually even work on it at the same time. In order to see each other's updates, you do need to log on and off, but you should be able to see and work on it together. Okay, so when you log on and you see your students, for right now, if you don't have any updated in there, it's because we haven't uploaded any or your kids haven't filled out any forms. So you should have some imaginary characters right now, and that's for you to practice with, because if we don't put that in there, then there's no way that you can work on the Gradebook. When you see your student list, we do ask that if you see any duplicates, such as Ronald Weasley, if you see him twice, please let your regional coordinator know. This happens when they register through the AO form 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and they do that sometimes because they're not sure if it got submitted, or they went back and had their parents do it, or things happen and they hit submit a couple of times. We do try to catch it before, but in case you see a duplicate child before you start putting points on them, let your regional coordinator know so we can delete a file. Okay, so once you have your list of students, we can go ahead and go back to the next button. So under messages, we're able to receive messages from Mesa and send out messages to parents or students. Under students, you can see the roster with all their information. And then we go on to Gradebook. And this is the nitty-gritty of what you'll be using for the most part. There are several ways of entering activities, and I'm going to go through a couple of them. Okay, and you can see I've already been putting stuff in there because we've been practicing this for a few times. So I'm going to do right here add assignment. Under add assignment, this is one method of doing it. You would put in meeting number 15, the date that you're going to have it. And it is very important that we use these types. So you will see that they are filled out for you. And for those just getting set up, give us a few days to make sure that this looks accurate for yours. So it might show right now homeworks, quizzes, tests, and assignments. Don't use those. It will look like this within a few days. As we're registering teachers into the program, we're putting in the school. The regional coordinators and Anita are going in there and updating this for you. So it should look like this. We're here within a few days. Okay. So in this case, because it is a meeting, I am going to go ahead and click student meeting. It is worth 1 point. As you can see, things are worth 5, 7, or 1 point. We don't need you to memorize it, but it's there in case you need to remember what it is. And it is worth 1 point. And I am going to put in here, discussed Mesa Day competition. We do ask that you please put on a description. It doesn't have to be paragraphs and paragraphs, but you do want to give something. This helps us in a couple of ways. Sometimes students question their points, or they say, Miss, I was there. You can go, okay, well, what was discussed? Okay. You can also attach files. So for example, if you you can attach links and you can attach files. Attach a file here. And once you attach a file, you can upload a document into it. So if your secretary takes notes for your Mesa Club, this is a great way to put them in there. And then that way you have them for next time, or a student needs to know the information. You have access to it pretty quickly. There are these buttons that say submit online and group discussion. For the most part, you'll have them off. It's again a feature that ThinkWave has where you could open up a group discussion and have your students discuss, different activities for Mesa Day or who can go to this field trip or whatnot. But it's not necessarily something that you'll be using. Because it is a gradebook, it does allow for students to log in and submit documents online or assignments. I don't anticipate you guys will be using these too much, but they are there for your use if you choose to. Okay, so once you have hit discuss Mesa Day competition, you will hit save for right now, and here it is, student 15, one meeting, and you can go through and add points to them. And I'm not going to add to one of the profiles for him, and there we go. And we would hit save. Eventually, that save button is going to go away. ThinkWave has let us know that they are updating the system where once you navigate away from this page, it will be whatever you last typed that's automatically saved. So if in a few weeks you see that save button disappear, don't panic. If they did let us know, it's going to go away. Another option, so I'm going to grab this meeting 3 right here. And if I see this quick fill, if I put a 1 right here and I hit save, you will see that it automatically gave everybody in attendance that 1 point. So if you had everybody attend, that quick fill button is easy. If you had the majority and you just need to go through and delete one, then it might be faster to go that way. So it does have a couple of really neat features for that. The other thing that it has is if you go to Gradebook under assignments, and I will be reviewing all of these over and over again. So
Great, Terry, we got a quick fill review. Ask again if we can review that quick fill one more time as you go.
Absolutely. All right, let me go back to the Gradebook. Let me delete this one real quick. It is fairly easy if you made a mistake to go through and delete and save. So I'm going to grab this meeting 12 and do a quick fill. It's right here. It's the last one on the very bottom. And this one is worth 1 point. So I'm going to give everybody 1 point and I'm going to hit save. And you will notice that on meeting 12 now, everybody got the 1 point. But remember, we don't want to give the duplicate 1. And I see that I had made a mistake there, and I can go through and delete past events or past points if needed. And you can see that quick fill. Again, if you had great attendance one day, it might be easier to go this way and delete the ones that didn't go. Okay, so that's one way. If I go here to Gradebook and I hit under assignments, you're going to see that it looks a little bit different. The list of students is down here below. I can add an assignment this way. And it's not going to show the roster, but if I click on on one that was already there, you will see the roster down below of students. It is one way of doing it and editing it to where you see it right on the same page. Parent meeting, the date that it was held, it was a parent meeting, so it's worth 5 points, 5 points here. And my little description, met with parents. Hopefully you write a little bit more. And then you write down who the points and you hit save and it'll automatically be there. Okay. This one seems to be all condensed in one page, but it might not be the easiest one to use. As a teacher, I was used to seeing the Gradebook like this. So this one to me is just visually easy to see it, but there's different options. There's 3 different options actually. And so I'm going to go through the third one. And I know I'm going kind of fast, but I'm going to review them again, I promise. So under new assignment, we had done it this way, right? Where we write meeting 1. And let's say that come October, I realized, oh my gosh, I haven't added the MEMS for a few days. I got behind and I need to go in there and do it. So I'm going to go over here to quick add it. And I'm going to add meeting 16, meeting 17, field trip to Highlands. And then I'm gonna go workshop with Explore. Service learning at elementary. And I'm gonna hit quick add. This will bring me to this page. So a couple of things to note, if they were all due on the same day, you could put it like this and it'll automatically fill it out. The reality is they were not like this. So I'm gonna give different dates. And I'm creating multiple events at one time. This is helpful if you got behind, or this is also helpful if you want to get ahead and look and put in the activities that you're going to do. Again, up here in the top box, if they were all meetings and you want to duplicate this, like meeting 1, meeting 2, meeting 3, you would go in there and hit student meeting and it would populate it automatically. Again, because it isn't, I'm going to use the individual ones. But student meetings, field experience, workshop, and service learning. Here we go. This is work 1 point, 1 point, 5 points, 5 points, 5 points. And the description, very important to write in something. It really does help because the students do ask sometimes. So please make sure that you write about it. It also helps us when we're talking to other people and we want to talk about what your school is doing. You can easily look at your descriptions and know what it is that you're doing lately. Gathered permission slips. Oh, I don't know how to spell permission. Here we go. Trip to Highlands and so you see that I went ahead and added 5 assignments. Put a date for each of them, put the assignment type that they were, the number of points they can max out on, and the description that they have. I'm going to hit import. And when that happens, it's going to automatically populate this gradebook, which is the one that I like to see, with all of them right there. Easy for me to see and visualize everything that I need to fill out. Okay, so they're right here, and I can go ahead and do my quick fill. And I will do this one. I did not have good attendance. I'm going to go through and do that. And these are worth 5 points. And then here I'm going to do another quick fill because everybody loves Explora. So once I hit save, you'll see that it automatically populated everything that I put in there for those quick fills. I can go through and delete any if I see that I made a mistake. And you'll notice that here under student meeting, I put a 2-way accident. So if it happens that you see a 2 and it's obviously not the points that are there, that are not supposed to be there, you can always go back and edit it. Okay. And if we catch it on yours, we'll also go back and edit it. So if we see a 2 or a 3, and that's definitely not one of the numbers, we will go through and we can edit at any time. Okay. So this works great. The quick add under add assignment under here. If you want to put in your 15 meetings every Monday, put them in there. You do a quick add. You set up all assignment types to be the same, the date, and it works out really nice to do a full grade book. You can do an assignment individually here on this part of the page, and it is one assignment at a time. Or if you go here through Gradebook and hit assignments, you can review previous assignments and go through and edit as you see fit if this is the way you like to see your gradebook. So it does have several ways of doing this. So That's mostly the button that you will use. So we've covered messages. You can receive messages from Mesa or send out messages to emails that the students have registered on their AO form or to parents. You do not have to use this feature if you have a better way of communicating, whether it's Remind, Canvas, Our School, or anything else that you have. Please use whatever you're comfortable with. It's just a feature that we offer, that the program offers. Student tab, you'll see your list of students, and as a reminder, please make sure that any duplicates you let your regional coordinator know so that we can edit. Gradebook, which is the place where you'll hang out the most. You'll see your school. And again, both advisors, any co-advisors, we just got to make sure that we have both your infos in our system. You'll be able to see. So one of you can be entering meeting 17 and the other one can enter parent meeting. You'll both be able to see the same thing. Okay. It does not do a live update if you're both logged in. You both will have to hit save, log out, log in, and you'll be able to see what the other person has put in. Okay. The last one under reports is you can go ahead and do a class enrollment, which will click that, and you can include their information. This one's not going to populate a big list because I don't have their numbers in there, but it would give you different lines here with their information. Okay, so this is a great way to check your roster, to print it out and put it in there so that you can see who's in there. And if the kid says, Miss, my name's still not on this roster, if they have signed up within the last 3 days, there's a good chance that it won't. But if it does, but if they registered a week or two ago, we definitely want to make sure that you have a way. This is also a great way for them to sign, for attendance for the day, if you still do paper attendance. Okay, so there is a way for you to check your class enrollment and do your attendance this way, your signatures. You could also do a student summary. So let's say that Malfoy, Draco, would like to his dad his activities. So you are able to view a report for him. It will show every opportunity that you have given. And the results, here under results, it shows which one he has taken advantage of. Okay, so this is a neat one to show kids, this is what you've done. This is where you can add up your points, 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 28 points. So you have 28 points done here. Eventually, this calculated grade, it is going to change. It's going to say 28 out of whatever total you offered. That is going to change with ThinkWave. They said to give them a little bit longer time. So you'll see that automatically change. But for right now, you can add them manually right there. Results is what the kid actually did. Okay, so you can give them this report as well. And under report, you'll see more show up here as time progresses because we want to be able to add more. So we're still customizing them. Okay. But that's about it. In setup, I really wouldn't touch anything. The regional coordinators and Ling and Anita have already gone through and changed out the stuff that needed to be changed. So please don't touch the setup. It's there, but you don't need to be doing anything with it. So the buttons that mostly you'll be working with are messages, students. The majority of time, it will just be the grade. All right.
And Terry, this is Kim. I know Anita and you and Nick and Ling really worked on this as a committee this summer. Could you or Anita or someone from the committee just share quickly how this process came about? I know folks are kind of playing around with the functions right now.
Absolutely. So, during the summer, we went through a committee trial and testing out different gradebooks, different database systems. There were some that were really amazing, such as PowerSchool, but unfortunately, it is a little bit above budget. And we found several of them that we really liked, ThinkWave being one of them. Obviously, it doesn't have every feature that we want. We're utilizing a pre-built system. However, it meets our needs. So we are able to collect the student data in there, and we're able to keep track of all their activities. So that was super important for us to be able to do.
Great.
On the
And
line?
Anita, would you be willing to speak to how some of this data is used at the higher levels for our board members to the New Mexico legislature?
Well, this data, just like any of our database data, is used when we, pull out student participation numbers, student demographics, student information. We're one of the few nonprofits that do tracking, of a lot of our student data. So that is really important, and that does differentiate New Mexico Mesa. So it is really important to show, participation as well as enrollment. Also to be able to have, a system where we can contact students' parents and do a little bit of tracking in there. So at the admin level, that's how we're using it for. And so long-term right now, this is, where we're using this data. And I think it's a great collection tool. And thank you to the committee that worked so hard to putting it together and getting everything straight. But, that data is very, it's very important. We're working on grants, when we're working on projects, to be able to pull up demographics as needed.
Mm-hmm. And if folks didn't get all the information today or want to go through it a little more slowly, will we have these posted? Will this workshop be posted, Anita?
Yes, all of our sessions will be are being recorded, as you guys can see the little record button, and they will all be posted to our YouTube channel for further view. So give a couple days, by next Monday, everything should be up. Once everything downloads and converts, we'll be able to get up on our YouTube channel, so you can go back and reference a ThinkWave training. I don't know if this particular training will be up. We've been recording a few of them. So we'll put up the best one of the best ones up there, but you will be able to go back and reflect on data, not just for this session, but for all the sessions.
Cool. And Terry, there's two questions as we're moving through. One is about the points from old MIMS and how those will be added. And the other one is like, if there's a guest speaker, how would they add that into the system? So maybe just a quick walkthrough on another simple task.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Kim. So remember, under Gradebook, if you want to go ahead and add assignment, and we will have a guest speaker. And we are going to have them tomorrow. And here you would write guest speaker. It is 5 points. 5 points. And guest speaker from NMSU admissions. Spoke about financial aid and application. So that's about the sentence that we need, and then we would hit save. And it is right here. And then we would do either a quick fill by putting the point down here at the bottom, or you could do manually. And see, I'm putting a 1. It's not a 1. Right here, it reminds you that it is 5 points. And I would go through and give these students 5 points for attending the event. And for right now, I would hit save. So under add assignment, you have the option of putting in a field experience. That's any field trip or field activity that they do. It could be a virtual field experience, an in-person, in their school or out of school. We put it as field experience because there's many ways of doing now a field trip. Fundraising, guest speaker, leadership activities. That's a perfect one to use with your officers. On mine, you'll see that it says miscellaneous points. On yours, you will not say this one. So this goes back to the other question. HRC will be putting in the points from old MIMS and the Google forms that you guys filled out this year. So we will be adding those points and making sure that the students have those points that they have accrued in their past Mesa school years. Okay. You will see parent meetings. You are required to have at least one a year. Rally, that is the regional competitions or activities that we have at each region. Service learning, a STEM competition. This could be a Mesa or a non-Mesa STEM competition. Student meetings and workshops. So these are the ones you'll see. You will not see miscellaneous points, the old MIMS points. That is I am visiting my gradebook, but let me go into somebody else's gradebook. Real quick, let me go into Red Mountain. If I visit their gradebook, you will see under add assignment, you will see these. So this is what yours should look like. And again, if you just got access today to it, you might not see them set up like this, but give us a few days. We'll go through every buddy's gradebook and make sure that this is set up this way. Okay. You don't have access to to old MIMS, but the regional coordinators do have access to pull up their points and their Google points. So we will be putting them in there and we will be letting everyone know what their points are. And we've also, as a staff, Ling, Anita, and all the regional coordinators, we voted and decided that we were going to give some extra points to every student, whether they're seniors or not. We've given them the extra points just to make sure that we didn't miss any along the way, whether they were in old MIMS or in Google Forms. We've gone ahead and added extra cushion points just to make sure that we didn't miss any. Okay, and so we will have those lists of students. So for those of you that have seniors here within the next couple of weeks, once we finish the rosters, come October 14th, which is the majority of the students getting into the database, we'll go through, pull your seniors, and let you know what points they have. Okay, so again, great way to add an assignment, and there are different types of ways to do it. I'm going to go ahead and return from this visit here for a second. And hopefully during this time, you've been able to play with your ThinkWave account. For those of you that are here on the line, if any of you have added an assignment and given Mickey Mouse and Wonder Woman or Spider-Man, whoever your student was, if you have added something and if you don't mind putting on the chat, we would love to see your gradebook. So if you put in there, please review mine. I'll go visit your gradebook so that we can all see what it looks like for yours. So any volunteers or takers to show us your gradebook?
Go ahead. You can then tell me if I put the points in right.
All right, Mr. Diego, hold on. Let's see. All right, I'm going to go to classes. And as you can see right now, I am in the admin view, so it looks a little bit different than yours. But as regional coordinators, Anita and Lane, we can see all of your schools. Obviously, you can see yours. But let's see. Mr. Diego, you were able to put in 4 activities and put in some stuff. And you actually have students already that are for real yours. Yes. That's awesome. I'm glad that you left some of these that are imaginary off. We will go through after today's meeting. We are going to go through and remove all of these characters that are here pretend. We just had them in there so you guys could practice while you got your actual students in there. So for any of you that are playing with it and you give Spider-Man some points, make sure you delete his points at the end so that we can go through easily and delete those characters. If they have points, we're not able to delete them. So make sure that you are able to, that you have deleted them. But this is correct. Let me go into one of your activities. Students got together and built posters to show how Mesa supports the school football team. Oh, that is awesome. And you gave these 3 students their points. Yes.
Terry?
That is excellent.
I had more, but they're not in the system yet.
Okay.
Terry, could you explain what that overall column is where
This
by
one,
Ashley it says 100?
this one is going to change. This is where it's going to say like that, 11 out of 11 points. And look, it's already changing. So you can see the number of points. Wow, they must have changed it last night. I'm super excited. So this is where we'll be able to see the number of points that this student has acquired. They have gotten 11 points. So just ignore the 100. You'll be able to see, if you scroll over it, you're able to see how many points. And that is an update from ThinkWave that they wanted us to be able to see those points because that's what we had been asking for. And this feature was not there yesterday. So ignore the 100, look at the stuff in parentheses. That's how many points the student has acquired. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and return from this visit. Anybody else that I can see your grade book?
I don't have any points, but I've been putting lots of assignments or activities, so that's
All right, let's
Up
go
to
look at
you.
those dogs. Hey.
Dogs.
Dogs. All right, so,
And so I have a question too about the points. So let me play devil's advocate. We're doing a workshop, but a kid can only come to half of the workshop. Can I give him 2.5 points, or would you prefer us to give the full points or not give the full points?
I'm gonna leave that to your discretion. It's either all or nothing kind of thing. In regards to how many points they earn. You know, if they
Okay.
were there for the majority of the workshop and you want to give them the full 5 points, great. If you just want to give them, you know, they were there for 20 minutes, and then maybe it's worth a student meeting point.
So, and that's really what I wanted to know. We don't have to give them the maximum points, but that is the maximum points we can give for a leadership. But we could give them 2.5 if we wanted to.
Yes, however, it is gonna ask, your regional coordinator is gonna look at it and just send you an email asking, is this correct?
Okay,
And don't
got you.
give 2.5 because we want to do whole numbers.
Okay, got you.
Their goal is to get to 175, and we don't want a kid to get to 174.5, and then we don't know what to do.
All right,
So
fair.
stick to the full point. The other part, so here on Jennifer's, I can see that she's already gotten ahead, which is awesome. So remember that quick add, this is a great way to do it and be able to put them all in there. So she already knows what her school year is gonna look like. She's already planned it out and put enough meetings and officer meetings. And this is a great way for the officer meetings to earn their leadership points. You can see those are worth 5 points. Because it is an officer meeting, so it's a leadership versus a regular student meeting where they're only earning 1 point. But I can see right here through her grade book, I can see that she already has planned out all the way through September, every activity that she's going to do. So that is an excellent way to get ahead and plan out your school year, is by putting them all into the grade book.
And then
That's my next
Terry,
question.
Oh,
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, what if you want to then delete an event? Can you show how you must remove some components before you delete an event? while we're in add?
Absolutely. Yes, let me go back to mine just because I don't want to mess with anybody else.
Okay,
All
so
right.
also with regard to that, besides the deleting part, in the olden days, when the kids submitted their form, they got an automatic 10 points for being an officer. Is that still going to be available, or do we need to do it through their participation like I did with the officer meetings?
So, you will add it as an assignment and put officer points and just give it to them one time.
Okay, just checking.
All right, so let's say that this meeting 12, I had planned it out and it ended up being canceled. There was a fire drill. We met for 1 minute. We're not going to go ahead and give them any points. I need to delete any points that I had issued and save it before I can delete the activity. So now I can go into it and hit delete, and it will delete the activity. Okay. And if I am here and I try to go into this one that still has it and I click delete, a red line will come up here and says this assignment cannot be deleted because grades or comments are recorded. So you have to go through and delete the points before you can delete an activity. Hit save first. Once there is no point on anybody, you can delete. And so you can put it. It does give you the accessibility to delete fairly easily. You cannot undo. If you delete it, that's it, you know? Feels Mr. Jaramillo. All right. Let's see. On your dashboard, we went ahead and covered messages. Again, it's not something that you have to use, but it is a feature. But if you do see any recent messages, it's from us to you. So please make sure that you click them open and read them. We went through students, where you will see your roster of students and you will actually see their information. And if you see any duplicates, please remember to let your regional coordinator know so that you can see it correctly. Under Gradebook, we went through several ways of adding assignments, whether it be clicking here under assignments and editing them, or hitting here under add assignment and going through the two different features, whether it's one individual assignment or whether it's the quick add. Okay. We also went over reports, where you can click your class enrollment and see the students. You can also hit student summary so that you can give them their points and let them know what they have done. And for your real students, you will see here under their rosters, you will see a little square where it will say previous points, and we will be adding them. So regional coordinators throughout this semester will be working on adding the old NIMS points and the Google form points and making sure that those students and their bonus points, just to make sure that by the end of semester 1, everybody has been updated with their correct points. Okay. Let's see. I didn't know how to add officer points.
Terry, if I can jump in, and let me just, maybe we can clarify something on the officer points. My understanding is it's not 10 points per year, like as an activity, it's added on, like the old database system used to just have a little checkbox if they were an officer or not. This does not. So it's because we don't have it set up as one of our activities for points. We're going to have to figure out a way to put that in. So if you can, I think as a general rule, that might get inputted maybe at the regional level or possibly the student, but it's not 10 points like as an activity per year. It gets added in if they on their final loyalty award at the end of their senior year. So we'll figure, back in the back end, if we can figure out a method for that, but we'll figure out a way to mark participation for, it might just even be like a 0 point in the gradebook just to mark for attendance, but we'll have to get that set up and get that added to your options to mark who your officers are. And Kim said there is an officer yes, no box in the student profile. So that may be what we go off of. Sorry, that was a surprise question that I didn't know when to answer when it was asked on the spot.
You are correct. So under students, we do have that feature to add. So I totally spaced that one out and I said it wrong. Thank you for catching it, Anita and Kim. Let your regional coordinators know who the officers are. We do have a space. This is what you'll actually see for the student. But regional coordinators are the ones that fill in this box, yes or no for officer. And so if you let your regional coordinator know, or Anita, we can go in there and update and change it from yes or no. And this is the box that we'll be looking at. So this is the actual information that you'll see for each of the students. And so once you let us know who the officers are, we will go through and update this box. Sorry, I gave wrong information earlier. Go through and let your regional coordinators know who your officers are. Thank you for catching that one. As you are playing with it, please let me know if you currently have any questions. Here shortly in the chat, Anita will be putting in the link for you guys to fill out the Survey Monkey so that you guys can get paid for the ThinkWave workshop. And if you had already done this workshop before, you can fill it out, but for attendance purposes, but you won't get that stipend. And for so we would love to know that you were here. So please go ahead and fill it out. And then other than that, you are welcome to open up your mics and ask any questions and we'll go through it. For any of you that are co-advisors, if you want us to double check that both of you are into the same school, please let us know. Just in case you guys are not looking at the same thing right now. And then give us a, as you can see, some kids put in the wrong thing or they don't, so sometimes we're getting a little bit of duplicates and it might be that they just wrote their name the first time or they had questions about it. So We do try to catch them, but like this, Walter Mora, for whatever reason, he gave himself a middle name on the second one, so we are not gonna delete it until you tell us that it is the same person and that it is,
That was a double upload last night. So that W is a withdrawal.
okay.
That's the withdrawal symbol. So
Okay.
like it was I caught it, I thought I caught them all. And then when I uploaded and then divided out by classes on the upload, I saw that name. And so I just automatically withdrew.
Perfect, okay.
Okay. So if you see a
All right.
little parentheses with a W beside it, those were early withdrawals for duplicates
Awesome.
at upload.
So we are gonna catch as many of them. Let us know.
And Terry, if you can also review duplicates, like if they see a duplicate, are they to enter points on a duplicate, or what are they to do if they do see a duplicate or somebody with a
Alright.
double?
So let me go to my class.
To answer Monica's question, on the admin end, I think we're the only ones who see the W for the withdrawal. I don't think teachers will see it if it's the upload point. Okay.
So remember, when you get to your dashboard, if you go to your students, you will see your roster here. So if you see a duplicate of students, please let us know so that we can go through and delete one of those 2 files or withdraw one of them. Okay. Okay, so great question, Mr. Villan. When you guys are entering into the gradebook activities and they are worth more than one thing. So let's say that the kids went to a field trip and they went through several workshops and different activities. You could put, for example, NMSU visit and then workshop with engineering. We do leave it to your discretion and oh my God. With math. Because I can't think today. And then guest speaker. Admissions. If the activity was worth more than 5 points, give them more for it. So let me do a quick add here. These were all on the same day because it was all the same visit, but we spent the whole day there. So they're going to get points for a field experience. They're going to get points for a workshop, and they're going to get points for a guest speaker. Now, if the whole event took 1 hour, it is not worth 15 points, guys. But if the whole event took 8 hours, we definitely want to give them credit for that. So use it at your discretion that if you see an activity that was worth way more than 1 point or 5 points, please make sure that you give them the right amount of points. This happens quite often during field trips where you're spending the whole day at a university, and then it will count for more than one thing. Okay, but again, if the whole activity, the whole day was 1 hour, I probably wouldn't give them 15 points. I would just go NMSU visit 5 points. But if the event took a whole day or 2-3 days, you want to make sure that you give them credit for it. I hope that makes sense, Mr. Villan. Okay, so and I'm gonna cancel that one. But any other questions regarding any of the things here on ThinkWave for right now? Can you show us how we print out contact information for our students? Absolutely. So under reports, you would go to class enrollment and you would click on your school and you would select what you want to add, their phone number, their address, their name. It's not going to generate on mine right now because I don't have any of that information for my fake students. But on this report, it would show up as a column right here. This whole part right here that is blank would show up filled with all their information. If
Will
that
it
makes
also
sense.
show like, will it also show like their allergies and their medical information? You know, like we went on field trips, normally we would take our stack of forms with us so that we have that available.
No, so that's not part of the form that they're filling out. If you see the student AO form, it's gonna ask them for their student address, their information, their parents, but it's not gonna ask them the allergies. That's still in the A3 form. So if you are doing the overnight field trips or anything like that, you still have to do the A3 form that's here in English or in Spanish, and you keep records of that. We don't ask you for that, but you are the one that's responsible for doing A3s and keeping records of that if you're going on a field trip. You can do A3s per field trip or one per the year and have them fill it out now. Or, you know, it depends on what your school's policy is of how you keep record or track of that information. Okay, so we're only asking for the AO form and it's not gonna have their allergies. That's the A3 form or any school forms that you may have. And so just for safekeeping and good record keeping, you want them to fill out those A3 forms and keep them in a paper binder. And that binder goes with you on field trips at any time. Again, this is something that you can have them fill out now for future reference, or you can have them fill it out right before the field trip.
Terry, a question came through about when we add regional or state activities. And again, just looking, so now we're at Terry's account. If you look at her list activities, an example would be she has regional rally as an option when she was setting up. When regionally, your coordinator adds activities, or statewide, myself, like I would add like Mesa Day or something, we would add it, but it does not show up on your grade book, but it does show up on the student transcript. Is that correct, Terry? And can you show them where to find that
Yes.
information?
Yes, so currently right now, if I visit any of your teacher accounts under reports, you cannot see the entire student transcript. You only see what you have entered, okay? This section right here under reports is gonna be at, you know, ThinkWave is customizing some reports for us. And that's where they'll see it. So if at any point you wanna see the entire transcript, you would actually have to go through your regional coordinator for them to see. Hold on, I gotta pick a kid that I do have enrolled in class. So as you can see, we have more buttons as admin. And so we'll be able to pull this out, report for you guys and generate a report where it's gonna show all the sections, the school, the region, and the statewide points. And so it's gonna look like this and the number of points. Okay. Obviously this is pretty bare since I don't have a lot of points for him. I've been deleting them, but it would show the full amount of points, and us as regional coordinators can pull out their entire summary and their total points. So for right now, you can ask us for them. Okay, hopefully here in the future, you'll be able to see that report added to yours. Okay. Any other questions? Hopefully it is user-friendly for you, but if at any point you get stuck, any technical questions, ThinkWave is pretty good about answering their help email. They are pretty fast, but any questions regarding entering activities for us, then you definitely want to reach out to your regional coordinator and we'll be glad to help you through the database. But hopefully this is user-friendly, and the Gradebook, which is the part that you'll be mostly visiting, that you will find it user-friendly so that you guys can start entering all your activities. All right, so we'll be sticking around if you have any additional questions, but other than that, Anita is going to put in the SurveyMonkey Google link to so you guys can get credit for it. And if you have any questions, feel free to stick around. Other than that, you're dismissed till 3 o'clock, and at 3 o'clock, we will start with the general meeting. So again, super excited to start this year with ThinkWave and be able to start keeping track of all the activities that you guys are doing. Can't wait to see them.
3:30 is the general meeting,
Oh.
Terry.
Thank you. Oh my goodness, you guys have an hour off. What to do, what to do.
Get some
All right.
coffee, take a walk.
I know, take a coffee break, drive home, restroom break, stretch it out, but do come back at 3:30 or I'll get in trouble for all of you missing. So please make sure that you come back at 3:30. And for the general meeting, shortly after that will be the regional meetings with the regional coordinators, and then we'll be done for the day and get ready to start a school year.